You are listening to the Drink Less Lifestyle podcast with Dr. Sherry Price, episode number 164.
Welcome to Drink Less Lifestyle, a podcast for successful women who want to change their relationship with alcohol. If you want to drink less, feel healthier, and start loving life again, you're in the right place. Please remember that the information in this podcast does not constitute medical advice. Now, here's your host, Dr. Sherry Price.
Well, hello, my beautiful friend. I hope you are having an amazing month. I'm calling this my month of gratitude. And if you are on my email list, you have received one of the mantras or morning mindsets that I do. And it's posted on my YouTube channel if you are not on my email list. But you see how I get into a great state of mind to start off my day. And I've been really focusing on this practice this month, and inside Epic U, we're focusing on expanding our gratitude. Because we find and the studies show, when you are in gratitude, it is really a state of mind where you can change the hormones within inside of your body to more oxytocin, to more serotonin that is released. And so it really puts you in a good frame of mind and an emotional state for promoting health, wellness, and reducing stress. So I just wanted to drop that little tidbit in case you needed some of that more positive dose from Dr. Sherry Price, that you can go over to my YouTube channel and watch the video. And we'll be posting more stuff there a little bit this year, but certainly going to be focusing on that for the upcoming year. And speaking of the upcoming year, so many changes are coming. I cannot wait to tell you all about them. I am so excited. I am discussing them with my team and discussing them with the Epic U members. And we are just super excited for the new changes in the new year. So as we go into this season of overabundance, as I like to call it, or overindulgence, because there's a lot of parties, there's the festive spirit. We feel like we have to buy gifts for everybody and indulge in everything and all the things. And that's shortly on the horizon. But I really want to come back to really focusing on our consumption around alcohol. So one question I want to ask around alcohol, and if you are drinking more than you want, or you have a relationship with alcohol that you are not excited about or not proud of, and you still want to make changes to it, I want to ask one question for you, and that is, why do you keep drinking? So this is different than why do you start drinking? This is more like when you start drinking, why do you keep drinking? And I really think that's an important question to really look at for yourself. And I find that the answer may be different than why you even start drinking. But really consider, why do you keep drinking? So when you drink, right, and you keep drinking, to what end? Have you ever asked yourself that question? What do you want to get out of this whole drinking experience? Are you looking for a certificate at the end? Like, most alcohol consumed, congratulations, you get the prize over there in chair 1 at this bar, right? Where you get a certification that, woohoo, look at how many drinks I could suck down. Are we looking for a pay raise? Like, why do we keep drinking? A job well done from the family? Like, woohoo, way to go, mom. Way to put back those beers. Way to put back that wine. Way to put back those cocktails. Are we looking for like an kudos from the family? Or are we thinking, this will just give me a healthier body and a healthier mind? And while I'm speaking a little tongue-in-cheek here, right, we know that this is not what we're thinking. And if it's not what we're thinking, then what are we thinking? Why do you keep drinking? Some people may say, I just want a better outlook on life, or I want a better outlook on my marriage, or I want a better outlook or a brighter outlook on my creative pursuits. And some people don't even answer that question. They don't even really know why they keep drinking. They just do. And that's what I really want to highlight here, because if you are just doing the drinking and really not even being cognizant that you are keep drinking, that you are making an elective choice to continue in the process, what does that really say about your mind and your mental state while you're drinking, right? It's like if your brain just goes offline and it's like, automatically your hand just picks up and keeps drinking. What does that say about what alcohol is doing to the process of thinking? Shutting it down? Being disconnected with yourself? And the reason I love this question so much is because it really highlights like, oh, wait, there's more to this alcohol picture and this story than what maybe I had initially thought. And I ask this question because a lot of times alcohol leads to like a split mind. I hear a lot of women come to me saying, oh, I want it. I just want a little of it. There's part of me that really doesn't want it. I don't know. Maybe I could just give it up entirely. Maybe that is possible for me, but I just can't see it. Maybe I want that, but I'm not sure. And so like alcohol leads to this split mind where I don't know if I really want alcohol in my life and how much and when I would want it and how often I would want it. And so it causes like this lots of confusion. And then I find that alcohol leads to a split heart. Like deep down, I really want it in the moment, but then the next day, I just don't want to feel like that. And I just really didn't need to do that. And why did I do that? And then it really breaks our heart because we're like emotionally attached to it. And we feel it in our body that maybe we want it or we're craving it or we desire it. But then the next day we're filled with the direct opposite feelings, self-loathing, disappointment, depression. And some people it's disgust. It's like, why do I keep doing this to myself? So think about your relationship with alcohol, right? Leading to that split mind. Some people tell me they feel like two different people. I know I felt that way. I wrote a blog post about it that many people resonated with, and it was called My 6 a.m. Self versus My 6 p.m. Self. My 6 a.m. self hated alcohol. I hated the way I felt when I got up in the morning. I'm like, I just feel dehydrated. My head hurts a little bit. I need more coffee to get going. I don't have the motivation. I don't have the drive. I'm feeling a little sluggish. And then I go downstairs and I see the recyclables and I'm just like, yuck. I don't even want alcohol. I'm definitely writing it off for today and probably for the foreseeable future, at least for a week. But then 6 p.m. came around and my 6 p.m. self was in the witching hours. And I was like, I just want to drink. And so it made me feel like bipolar, right? Like, okay, in the morning, I am one way and I think one way and I act one way and I'm committed to a certain commitment with no alcohol on the horizon. And then like 12 hours later, who do I become? I become a different creature. I'm all of a sudden wanting it. I'm all of a sudden driving out to the store because I wasn't keeping it in the house. And then I was just like, who am I? And I know I'm not alone. I know a lot of you out there listening tell me you feel like two different people. You can have such a great day, but then you come home and it's like, I just want that drink to unwind. And that drink leads to another and another. And so coming back to this question, why do you keep drinking? I think is really important for you to answer for yourself, because this is going to allow you to understand yourself more. And when you understand yourself more, this gives you the knowledge and the power to be able to change that. Because without knowing it, you just keep doing it and you're just like, I don't know. And you throw your hands up in the air. I don't know. I don't know why I keep drinking. I just keep drinking. I don't know. It's like some force from outside of you comes over and takes over. And that is not the case. So to do the deeper work here is really to peel back the layers and say, okay, why is it that I keep drinking? And I know if you come to this podcast, right, you're probably looking for help to cut back on your drinking, maybe to stop altogether or maybe just to cut back to a reasonable amount. And I want to tell you, some people listen to podcasts just for the information. And that is good. But that's not what gets the transformation. Some people listen to podcasts to feel not so lonely or not so bored or feel like, hey, I just want somebody in my ear that feels like they're talking to me. And that's good and well. And then some people listen for inspiration, which that's good and well as well. But to get the most out of a podcast is when we get the information and we start applying it to our life. And that's what gets you the transformation you're looking for, is the actual application to your life. So this is why I want you to do that deeper work where you ask yourself, why do I keep drinking once I start? Because I want to think about it this way. If you want to drink alcohol, you certainly can. You're an adult. You get to make your own decisions. And for me, I wanted to be somebody who had one and was done. It's what I wanted. And I thought about that a lot. Like, what would that woman show up like? How would she act? What would her response be when she was offered another drink? And what would it take really for me to step into those shoes of a woman who can have one drink and be done? And I could tell you I've done that work to get here. And it's by looking at questions like these and then applying it to your life. Because I didn't want to continue doing something or using something that really didn't support me, my core values, and really my mission, which is to better my health and to help those around me better their health. Right? That's one of the reasons I love to pay a gym membership. I really do. Even if I don't go all the time, because I like to exercise at home. Sometimes I like to exercise at a gym. But when I pay that gym membership, I know that that is my identity. I see myself as a healthy person hanging out with people that work out. And I do, because that's the person I want to be. And when I have friends that enjoy working out, it also makes me identify and self-identify as somebody who works out and cares about their health. And that's why a lot of people spend money on gym memberships, whether they use them or not. It's a way to identify. And so since health is one of my core values, right, I'll gladly spend that money because I want to be invested in my health. I want to be invested in living a life where I have mobility and agility and strength. And I could do activities of daily living in my 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s and beyond, hopefully. And that means I have to do the work now. I don't just care about it when I lose those abilities because it's so much harder to get them back. And so while you're listening to this podcast, I really urge you to answer that question for yourself. Why do you keep drinking? And speaking of other podcasts that I listen to, because I listen to a ton of podcasts in the health and wellness space, I recently learned on a podcast that many of our personal care products are filled with obesogens and these parabens and these phthalates. And I thought, oh gosh, no, I know to look for those products. And there were a few products mentioned in this podcast. And so I went looking under my bathroom sink at some of my products. I looked at this face care cleanser I use, and I was like, oh my gosh, there are 3 different parabens in this product. And here I was told that this was a healthy product. I was even told in pharmacy school that this is the one to recommend because it's going to help with the skin microbiome and not disrupt it to cause too much disruption where it's going to cause breakouts. And I was floored that I'd been using this product for years and thinking it was a healthy product. I also started looking at the mascara I recently bought, which is one of my favorites. It's by Lancome, and I love it because it lifts as it separates. Yes, I am talking about a mascara, not a bra or anything else, but I looked at the back of the ingredients and again, more parabens. I'm like, oh my gosh, my favorite mascara has obesogens in it. And anything in the vascular area, anything that we put on our lips or our eyes can quickly get absorbed into the body, which means these are products we want to be more diligent about, right? Using the right types of products with clean ingredients that aren't going to throw our hormones off balance and cause weight gain. And so when I learned that information from that podcast, I was like, dead stop. I pulled these out of my bathroom. I did an Instagram reel on them saying, I'm getting rid of these products. They are no longer considered clean. So if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that reel. And I made a commitment right then and there to change to different products. And I'm using the Beauty Counter mascara right now and a different cleanser for my face. All of these things that don't have the harmful chemicals in it. And the reason I bring up that example is because listening to that podcast, I just didn't listen for the knowledge and the information. I applied it to my life, and that's what's going to get the transformation. And the more I'm learning in my life and how I'm making these decisions to support my health, the more I want to empower other women with this information and with this knowledge so they could take the steps to live a healthier lifestyle. Because I live by the motto, when you know better, you do better. And it's not about being perfect. It's just saying, oh, I didn't know that before, and I'm not going to get mad at my past self for using that mascara and that face cleaner for a long, long time, and just say, okay, now I know better. Now I'm going to do better. So I wanted to use that example because as you're looking at why you keep drinking, I don't want you to beat yourself up because maybe you just never thought about asking this question. And here's what I want to say about the answer to this question, because I think after working with thousands of women with their drinking and wanting to improve their life, get healthier, and look for ways to do that, the big reason I hear people say why they keep drinking is because they think alcohol and drinking is fun. And maybe that's how you would have answered this question. And if so, well, let's just look at the data, right? Let's look, is it fun? So for me, I choose most days of the week not to drink. because it just doesn't align with my health and wellness goals. I don't feel better about myself emotionally. Alcohol starts to wear me down and weigh me down. Mentally, I feel not as sharp if I drink during the week, particularly if it's over a glass of alcohol or one serving of alcohol. Physically, I know alcohol negatively impacts my workouts. I just have lower energy when I'm at the gym. I have kind of an apathetic, like, oh, here I am, let's just get it done. And I put in not my maximal amount of effort and I kind of half-ass it. So I don't want to show up to my workouts that way, especially during the week. And then, so that's mentally and that's physically. And then emotionally, I know alcohol tends to stall me. And what I mean by that is like, I get this emotional constipation with alcohol where I just don't have drive to do things. I feel a little apathetic. I lack motivation to get things done. I'm kind of working at 50, 60, 70% and not my full potential. I'm not firing on all cylinders. I may not have the motivation to choose the best and healthiest meals. I might be slacking and say, oh, that's fine. I can just add a little more carbohydrates here or less protein there, or this processed food won't hurt. A little bit won't hurt. And I notice emotionally, it's just not the happiest version of me. And I have to laugh because I know it's a depressant, right? So it's like the next day after drinking, why would I expect to be so happy? It's a depressant. So of course, everything starts to feel a little sluggish, a little slow mode, or going in a little slow motion, because that's the effect of the drug on the body. So for me, my emotional state just gets a little bogged down. It gets a little weighted because of the aftermath of alcohol, right? We know that 12 to 24 hours after we drink, anxiety goes up, depression goes up. It's a depressant. It causes anxiety. It lasts in our system way longer than when we stop drinking, right? The half-life of alcohol is about 5 hours. So to fully clear it out of the body takes over a day. And so I know if I'm going to be drinking on a Tuesday night, right, I don't think about just drinking that alcohol on Tuesday. I think of the full gamut alcohol plays in my body because of the hormonal cascade that it causes once I consume it. So going back to this question, is it fun, right? I think a lot of people think, oh, the part where I was drinking it was fun, but the next day, not so much. But you can't have one without the other because alcohol lasts up to a day in the body. So it's not like I could say, yeah, it's fun for the first 4 hours, but I hate the next 20. I don't like how I sleep. I don't like how I feel when I get up. I don't like how I feel about myself. I'm emotionally run down or sluggish or don't have the energy that I want. And I'm just not killing it at life. I don't feel epic after I drink a lot. So I really want to portray that picture for you because you can't just select 4 hours out of that whole time that alcohol is actually working in your body, right? The liver has to break it down and the metabolites even make you feel sluggish. And so for the body to fully get rid of the metabolites and the alcohol takes a long time. So if you want to tell yourself the story that alcohol is fun, more is better, consider maybe it isn't. Maybe just part of that story is fun. And maybe more actually isn't better. I actually feel way better with just one drink than I do with 3 or 4. Absolutely. So when I hear a lot of women tell me, yeah, alcohol is fun, but the next day sucks. I'm hungover. I have no energy. I don't know what to do with myself. I just want to yell at my kids because my head hurts and I just have no tolerance and no patience for them. Or I just want to avoid my boss because, I just want to fly low under the radar. And that is part of the drinking process and part of the alcohol process. So maybe we have to start considering the story we tell ourselves about having 3 and 4 drinks, and that it's really not fun when we consider the whole gamut and the whole picture of how alcohol affects the body. Because the entire picture of drinking doesn't stop when you stop drinking. You got to consider the entire life cycle of alcohol inside the body. And I just made this amazing workbook for the members inside Epic U, and it'll be launched at the end of November. You will get access to this workbook that will talk about how alcohol affects all the different systems in the body, how it's metabolized, why women can't tolerate as much as men, And it really breaks down all the components of alcohol because some women are like, I just want to know all the things that it does because that knowledge will empower me to stay on my path and stay committed to drinking less. So the great news is I have developed that workbook and it will be available for you, or that manual will be available for you at the end of the month. Because I really want you to be knowledgeable about all the systems, all the ways alcohol can harm the body and what happens with each glass that we consume. And empowering you with this information will empower you to make healthy decisions. How do you want to feel? How do you want to feel that night and the next day? Because what we don't want is just to continue a habit that we don't understand, that we don't fully evaluate and we don't fully investigate for ourselves, because that won't get us anywhere. Instead, we can break it down piece by piece and look at each part where we get stuck. Some people don't get stuck when they're at home by themselves. They feel like that doesn't bother me. It's only when I'm out with friends. And then I hear the reverse of that. It's like, oh, when I'm out with friends, I totally got it dialed. I don't have any problems. I easily stop. I feel elegantly satisfied after one drink. I don't feel like I want anymore, but it's just when I'm at home. Great. Well, there's something that you're thinking at home that is different than when you are out with your friends. Or if you have it dialed in at home and not out with the friends, there's something that changes in your thinking when you're out with your friends. Or it could be you have trouble in both areas. And that's okay if you struggle in both of those areas. We just start peeling it back. So you can learn about you and how your brain is wired and patterned and the justifications it gives towards alcohol. And look, some of those justifications you may want to keep. You may want to say, hey, this is how I want to behave, respond around alcohol in this environment. But in this environment, it's a no-go. I want change here. And that's exactly what you work on. You work on what you want changed. Just like I wanted a mascara that lifts and separates, but not with parabens. And I found one. Because my philosophy is all problems are solvable. So as we wrap up this episode, really investigate what keeps you drinking. And what kind of woman do you want to be? A woman that stops after one and feels elegantly satisfied? One that doesn't need alcohol during the week, but yet you still want to indulge a little bit on weekends? Or maybe after reading the alcohol guide inside of Epic You, you'll be like, no, I think I'm done with alcohol. And maybe you want to be just done with it for a season of your life and reevaluate it at a later time. But here's something I never hear. I want to increase the amount of alcohol I drink. I want to overindulge more. I think more alcohol brings out the best in me, and I'm so energized even the next day, said nobody. And how could they when it's a depressant? Of course, we wouldn't expect that to happen from this drug. And when you look at it as it's just a substance or just a drug that we consume, and it's going to have these effects on the body, that's how we could stop blaming ourselves and shaming ourselves, because we just know it's the pharmacology of the drug, and that's how it's going to affect our biology. We don't have to walk around with shame. We don't have to walk around with labels. We don't have to walk around with a struggle for years and decades. Instead, we can just move to the solution. And when you move to the solution, that's when you get more health, more wellness. You feel emotionally free, not weighed down mentally or emotionally or even physically. Women in the program lose weight. They get their relationships back. They start liking themselves more. It's truly amazing. And by doing this work is what creates an epic you, so you have epic health. And that's the goal of this podcast and my programs, is to help you feel epic so you have epic health. All right, my friends, don't forget also in November inside of Epic You, we are doing an additional and bonus class at the end of November around how to parent with intention. I know the holidays can be a tough time with our loved ones, and so we want to set ourselves up on how we want to navigate these times so we celebrate with more love and more joy and more happiness in our families. And I want to help you do that. So if you're inside Epic You, make sure you lock down that date and time so you can come to the call and get coaching on any areas of your life where you feel you want to improve how you speak with your kids. This can even be how you speak with your spouse, so you can get outcomes that allow for more joy, more peace, more love to come through, especially in stressful times. All right, my beautiful friends, I love you, and I will see you next week. If you want to change your relationship with alcohol and with yourself, then come check out Epic You. It's where you get individualized help mastering the tools so you can become a woman who can take it or leave it and be in control around alcohol in any situation. Epic You is the place for women who want to be healthy, confident, and empowered to accomplish their goals and live their best life. Come join us over at epicu.com/epicu. That's epicu.com/EPICYOU. I can't wait to see you there.